Okay, today I'm going to be playing some Against the Storm. It's a city builder that I've played a lot of already. I think I've logged around 150 hours. At that amount, I just barely maxed out the talent tree. So like, there's a lot of this game that I can and I will play. I'm playing on a new profile, so all of my progress is going to be reset so that I'm playing from base. Just so that I'm seeing all the content again for the first time, or seeing as much content again as like a new player, especially because I'm going to be logging so many hours again. I want to feel that sense of progression again. The reason to come back to the game, I mean, it's just a good city builder, straight up. And they've also added some DLC. I've played a bit of Keepers of the Stone, but not too much, with the new frog race. And they've now added a new character race of bats and a few biomes, and then some other like events and other content. So I'm excited to see what's new about the game. I've got a lot of experience in this, so I'll try to explain my decision making as I go and not assume that people know things. The world is plagued by the Blightstorm, a vile cycle of destruction ravaging everything in its path. The only safe haven is the smoldering city, where the mysterious Scorched Queen reigns. You are one of her viceroys, a pioneer sent into the wilds, tasked with establishing new settlements and acquiring valuable resources for the crown. Your goal is to help rebuild the smoldering city and secure the future of the Queen's subjects. Okay. So we're going to go through the tutorial as quick as I can. Okay, so we don't want to increase impatience. And fulfilling our duties increases our reputation. Filling that bar will win. Choosing blueprints, okay. Whenever you finish one of these pips on the meter, you get a blueprint as a reward. The only one that we can pick right now is the woodcutter's camp, so we'll take that. And I mean, that's good because we're surrounded by a lot of trees here. Okay. So, building a woodcutter's camp. There it is, there's the button. We place one over here. Still remembering all the controls, that like R is to rotate, not scroll wheel. I like always lining it up to be on 90-degree angles. So people are going to start building this. I think you can only have 3 builders assigned to like a single building at once. The buildings also use parts, of which all of our resources are stored in the warehouses. You can build more warehouses later, and the resources don't need to be moved from warehouse to warehouse. As soon as it gets into one, they're considered like a global resource. Okay. We've also got a flashing button up here. Orders. So it wants us to build 2 woodcutters camp and deliver 10 wood. Seems pretty easy. To be able to collect that wood, we need to assign some woodcutters here. Beavers, they have a little specialization bonus. They are proficient in woodworking. I can't remember exactly what that does. I just know that they're better to assign here, so I'll assign 3 of them. This woodcutter's camp, I want to not have any of my people just standing around doing nothing, so I'll put some more of my people to work. So with trees, you'll want to specify like where you're cutting. Sometimes you want to go into new glades to discover like events, which can be good or bad, or new resource nodes. So if I do this, then they're going to cut down only these trees. If I want it to be really particular, I can get rid of these and cut like a single line on the way there. 2 woodcutters can't be working on the same tree at once, so you might see them cut down some extra trees since I've got 3 woodcutters here, but that's fine. If I were to do a second line over here, because the woodcutters themselves have this large of a range, the green outline, these guys could take a lot longer of a walking trip to get over here. I don't really like that, but it's just something you have to deal with. Maybe I could put a woodcutter further down here to like mitigate long walking paths, but we don't need to do that for the tutorial. It's just something to tell about. Now, with our few extra characters that aren't doing anything, they're going to be given like the role of builder if ever you have buildings that can be built or resources that could go to the buildings, like they need to ship resources over there, they'll do so. So it's nice to have one or two people not assigned to any kind of work. They're going to build these paths here. Paths will increase movement speed by a very small amount. You'll get paths that can cost resources in the future to like greatly boost their speed. So then in hot zones, people are like absolutely flying. You'll also see me pause the game a lot. Since impatience grows over time, I don't want to be like just having things run in the background without me like actively reaching some kind of goal. I can speed up to ×3 while I'm waiting, or I guess I don't need to wait. First orders in the tutorials are very quick to complete. Let's see what the next one is. It wants me to discover 2 glades, and it wants me to assign 5 beavers as woodcutters. So this one gave me 3 beavers, and it also makes production in the woodcutters camp quicker. Now, I know that woodcutting takes like a very short amount of time. It's like 9 seconds when you're there to be able to like cut the tree that you're on. Other resource acquisition is like 20 seconds long. So increasing wood cutting speed by like 60%, sure, that feels like it should be increasing it by a lot, by like, what is it? What was the number? 35%? Yeah, not really, because most of the time spent wood cutting is just in transit to and from. So maybe that's like a 10 or a 20% boost. Anyways, I should be cutting less of these trees here instead of trying to get 2 people into 1 glade. I should be making them cut these trees instead. Oh, and the game has so many hotkeys, like the UI is just so nice. I'm also going to rotate this building a bit. Can I rotate this building? Yes. Move. And we're going to put you like this, so that people can cut down these trees, enter really easily, and then when they need to ship the wood off to the warehouse, they're also easy to get over here. I've forgotten that I can choose a new building. Let's go and see what it is. We've got a shelter. So it's just houses for our people. Let's get some of our builders on those. Now, shelters need to be within range of one of these hearths, but I don't want them to be close to the warehouse because I don't need to ship resources to and from, like, after they've been built. I think you can also move them for free. So let's say I place them here to start building, like, 3 of them. I should be building more than that. How many people do I have? 12 total, so I should be building 4 shelters. So let's go like that. Now, the builders are working on the paths here. They don't have any kind of priority set for them. However, I can change the priority of every single building, including every single path. You can also go negative, which is very nice, honestly. If I set a lot of things to a high priority, though, it can mess with things because a lot of this game is about like the people walking to and from the buildings. If you try to micromanage too much, you'll see that in the middle of building their paths, oh, they did complete the paths, maybe because it's just so quick to, but other buildings that take like a long time to construct, they'll get pulled off of it, they won't finish construction, and then they'll go straight to the higher priority buildings. We need to assign more beavers as woodcutters, so I'm going to trade these guys out all for beavers instead. I think the proficiency means that they cut slightly faster, or it might be that they have a chance to duplicate the gain of whatever they get. Also, you'll see that I'm not just gaining wood. You gain a lot of resources from trees as well. Let me see if I can hover over them. Yeah, we've got resin, plant fiber, and eggs in this area. In other ones, sometimes you can get like meat. You can get like, I think fish, because there's like a coral biome or something like that. Sometimes you just get like double wood, but nothing else. You might get leather, you might get copper. There's different tree types for different biomes. And now that they're done cutting all of their trees, I'm fine to just move this up, and I'm also good to move this up without having any of the beavers like complain about it, like have the resources instantly shipped back here if they're like on their way to the warehouse, because they're all taking a break at the hearth. So your villagers aren't just like, they can't work all the time, right? They have to take breaks at specific times. I think different species have like different timers of the breaks. I can't remember all of them specifically. I think humans are like the hardier species, so they require less breaks. I think harpies are like the ones that are complaining more about the work that they do, so then they have to take breaks more often. I can't remember. I'll probably eventually read it somewhere. How do I get rid of this menu on the side? Right click. Okay. So we're still waiting to explore a glade. Some people are Oh, wait, hold on. Produced goods. I think this is, it's warehouse stores. That's a new way of showing, what is it, like, resources in here? I really like that, though, because it shows you how full they're getting. I think there are some specific buildings that will be able to store more than 10 of a resource, because 10 is the maximum wood inside of a woodcutting camp. Ooh, something I've neglected thus far. You'll see that on the hearth, one person has to man it to keep it going. You'll get a bonus for having different people on it. Humans will grow in patience slower. Beavers reduce fuel consumption. Don't care, I'm getting a lot of wood. And lizard firekeepers will give 1 to global resolve. So resolve is a meter over here that shows how happy people are. If it gets too low, people will start leaving your settlement. If it gets high enough, you'll start gaining free reputation points without having to complete the queen's orders here. So I don't care about the +1 to global resolve. We'll put it on less impatience growth. Go from there. Now we've discovered a second glade, so we've got root nodes and egg nests and some more root nodes. I'll stop them from cutting down these trees because they're quite far away. And I'll speed it up a bit. Or I guess we've completed this order. Let's see what's next. We've got a new building, a small foraging camp, and the next order is, yeah, going to be saying place down a foraging camp and get some people foraging. So the flax field here, I don't think it's a resource that this guy works with. Yes, it's just the root nodes, but I need vegetables specifically. So I'll place my camp here. I'll place down some more paths in front of it. And something specific to buildings that have to house people. If I house them early, like this, and I'm going to house people with a specialization bonus, that means that the builders assigned to this building are these 2 people, and then when they're done building it, they'll just man it immediately. So then it saves a little bit of walking time, which is nice. I do have 3 people doing nothing. I don't really care to make them do anything because this is just the tutorial. Let's speed it up to ×3, get this done a bit quicker. Mark trees for harvest. Don't really need to. What I could do, however, though, is move my shelters out of the way. I think some shelters or some housing units have a moving cost. These guys don't. So it is nice to build them close to the warehouse, so it takes less time to transport their resources, but then move them further away so that they don't take up the valuable space right beside the warehouse. Like this, woodcutter's camp, I'm going to move down to here next, so that they're able to cut trees closer to the warehouse, so they have less time spent shipping the goods that they're moving. I am also going to ask them to finish clearing out this area, just so that I have space behind the warehouse to build nice and easy. And I'm also going to get rid of these flat paths. Also, as much as I might hate North American infrastructure, they did get the grid system pretty well done. So I'm going to be copying them and building everything on square blocks. Because most things will fit inside of 2x2 grids, and you can have 4 buildings inside of that block. You can't mark like specific nodes for these foraging camps to harvest, but it doesn't really matter. Usually you don't have to say like, oh, I want these specific like vegetables picked first. I think they do just pick the closest vegetable patches. Yeah, so it's these 2 that they're picking currently. I think it was this one. No, it's just the one up front. Okay. Oh, and the orders. These are always very powerful. +1 to some kind of production. So normally when you're picking, you'll only get 1 vegetable from like hitting one of these nodes. Now I'm getting 2. It's straight up a double in production. It doesn't mean my production speed's any faster, but like that doesn't matter. It does mean that it's going to take longer to ship them to the warehouses, but hey, I'm getting more resources. I'm not going to complain about that. A stonecutter's camp. I don't think we have any place to start hitting stone yet. I'll put it down. Oh, there is clay in the corner here. So we'll put you down like this. And I said that I wanted to build everything on a grid, so I'm actually going to move you down 1 more to here. And then paths in front of it here. We'll assign you with some workers, just some lizards, so that I can save my humans for another foraging camp in the future if I need it. And then ×3. Now, I have more people than I have houses, so let's get somebody building another house. And I'm going to plan for the future. I'm going to build like a few more houses like this. Now, the woodcutter's camp over here isn't close to any trees right now. I'm going to wait for people to finish transporting their goods first. I'm going to move it down here to open up some more space for shelters. So I'll ask you to like take out these trees, and I'll also open up this glade when they get around to it eventually. I am going to move these shelters because units can walk through buildings or resource nodes, but I think they do so slower. So I'm going to take you up here. You have been finished building, so I'm going to take you up here. And you as well. Oh, you might also see that it's a bit brighter outside. We've got some nice sunny rays. There's seasons in this game. So not just the Queen's Impatience growing, but you have to deal with, the drizzle, the clearance, and the stormy seasons. We'll see what the stormy season is like when we get there. Let's go for some more orders. We've got a harvester's camp, and we need to get some plant fiber. Pretty easy. I think that's just this one. So resource acquisition. Oh, right. I need to pick it from the blueprints that I get. There's the harvester's camp. We're building on a grid, so I'll place you like this. I guess that works. Yep. And then paths below and above it. I guess these ones right here beside the warehouse. Oh, I can't revert that with Control-Z. The warehouse right here is 3 blocks tall, so we're going to have a section that will take on like 3x2 or 3x3 buildings. The rest of them will take on like 4x4 or 2x2 or 4x4 buildings. I don't think there's any buildings that get as big as 4x4. That would be pretty crazy. No specialization bonuses, but that's fine. Don't exactly need it. We can move up this woodcutter's camp as well. Yeah, so you saw right there, proficiency. Worker has a 10% chance of doubling their yield, so he got 2 pieces of wood. You can also get 2 resin like that, or 2 plant fiber, 2 eggs. Newcomers. So after a certain amount of time passes, you'll also get more people added to your village just for free, and they bring gifts with them. So I can either take 20 wheat to turn that into something, or more people overall, 3 people. I'm just going to take 3 people overall. And that's good that we built some extra shelters then, so that they have an immediate place to go. Oh, and we also have coal somehow. I'm going to turn off all of that and ask them to use wood instead, since we're getting so much of it. Now we need to make some higher level materials than just, say, wood. So if I place down a crude workstation, I'm going to place it really close to the warehouse. So I'd ask this forester's camp to move, but I think this is fine. And this is going to be closer. The arrow right here is fewer steps to the warehouse than here. We man it with some people, and I'm going to ask them to make bricks, fabric, and planks. The fabric, I only want to use plant fiber because I'm harvesting it over here. Don't have a source of algae or reeds, but we might have some like in backlog. And down here, they're mining clay, but I don't have a source of stone yet. So I'm going to get rid of the stone from being used. Oh, it looks like it's highlighted, but I guess the stone is gray in both. Okay, so they're only using clay to make bricks. Nothing else to say about them yet. Limits are locked for now. I guess they didn't want to, like, burden people in the tutorial. I'll start talking about that eventually. So they're going to bring the resources over to the warehouse that they need, and then they're going to start, making the materials, and then they have to ship them back. So this process right here, because it takes like a good, I don't know exactly how long it takes, 56 seconds. That's going to take the majority of the time. I don't have to worry about transport as much, but since I have to take materials to and from, it just feels like it should be something that's close. At least for now, when I don't have any other better buildings to place closer. And now we're in the stormy season. During the storm, you will take a hit to global resolve. As you can see, the numbers are starting to detract. They will detract even more if you don't have shelter for them. It's not really a problem in the drizzle and the clearance seasons, but in the storm ones specifically, they'll get really mad at you. We can see all of the specifics here about like how hostility grows. The higher your hostility, the greater the reduction of resolve that you take during the storm. So that can be from the total amount of villagers you have, how many glades you've got opened, specific events. There's a lot of different ways to scale hostility, and I'll talk about them more when I get to later stages in the game. I can ask... Oh, it's the wrong button. I can now move this woodcutter camp to a better position. I think I want to move it down here to open up some space below my hearth. And then you get to be moved down to here. Oh, they opened up this glade. So glades can sometimes have events in them. Let's see what this one does. So threats. In another 25 seconds, 3 of my villagers are going to be killed. Okay, usually events will be like over the next 10, or not over, but in 10 minutes this effect applies. I think they're just speeding it up for the tutorial so you can see what it's like to have one of these threats pop. Also, what's this on the cornerstones? Okay, so these are your passive abilities for a run. I can take building materials. Production is 50% quicker in the crude workstation. I mean, that's my only place to make materials so far, so I like that. And 20 reed and 20 clay for each discovered glade. I'm not going to be discovering many of them. This isn't going to help me too much, especially when I already have plant fiber and clay production. So, carpenter tools it is. And I just have to be ready for this to kill 3 of my units. Hopefully it doesn't kill people that are in the middle of crafting their materials in the crude workstation. Okay. A craftsman did indeed die. We've also got a harvester that died down here. And then, or sorry, stonecutter, and then we've got a harvester that died. I think I'm gonna have less people on wood production so that we have a few extra buildings. And this. In another 5 minutes, they're going to die again. So I'm going to look to finish this event, and I can do so by shipping wood and fabric over there, but I need to assign somebody to ship those materials. One is going to get those materials over there in time, even though it is such a long walk. And I'll take one more person off of, yeah, let's do stone production so that I have just somebody around to build things if necessary. Let's also cash in on that order, and... now we can choose a human house, a lizard house, or a beaver house. I'm going to wait to see what my next order is before I do so. Doesn't exactly matter. So lizard houses are made from fabric and bricks, beaver houses from a lot of planks, or human houses from planks and bricks. I'll take a lizard house for now. I'm not going to play it because I need the fabric over here to like finish the event. And I guess I can have 2 people to help speed it up. You'll also see that the estimated time used to be at 1 minute and 30 seconds when I only had 1 worker on it. More workers means less time when you're actually trying to complete the event. And I guess I don't need any kind of woodcutters, I just need to complete this event, because this event is going to give me an ancient tablet as a reward, which completes my last order, which completes the tutorial, or one of the tutorials. I think there's like multiple tutorial areas. They really onboard you slowly because they have to. There's a lot of moving parts in this game. And that's the event done. So now these 2 people no longer need to be assigned to it, and this person is bringing the ancient tablet back to the warehouse, so now I can cash in on the order. So, for completing levels, you get meta progression in the form of, I think it's like food and then like industry points. We'll look at the skill tree eventually. Let's see what the next tutorial's like. Yeah, here it is. So villagers with low resolve will start leaving, and if they leave, it increases your impatience meter, which is like your fail state in the game. But if it's really high, then they'll grant passive reputation, the blue bar that helps us win the game. So, to fulfill resolve, we need to get more than just basic food needs met, more than just basic needs met, or more than basic housing needs met. You can also provide services to them as like luxury events. So say I have a tavern and they can drink beer there, they're going to like their life a lot more here, so it grants them more resolve. Each species have different needs. So I think beavers really like trade and like wine and things like that. Humans, I think they're luxury and maybe learning. These guys, I think it's like martial arts. And harpies is like tea and like a spa day out, and then I think also learning. Can't remember frogs and bats. They were the two new species, so I have less like I'm less inundated with them. Okay, so let's build a farm to get some grain. We are paused at the beginning. Good. Let me set up all of my paths that I want, which are 2 straight lines. Let's make that grid. And let's see our resource acquisition buildings. We do not have a farm yet. It's going to be, as our building that we pick up. And that's in food production here. So a farm can be placed on top of the grass, but it removes the ability to farm that grass. It just means that you're able to plant more quickly. If I were to place it on the outside here, it doesn't have enough range to reach the rest of them. If I place it here, sure, I'm getting rid of 2 grass, but I'm close to all of the, what is it, like, I'm close enough to all of the fields and close enough to the warehouse that I think it's the most beneficial, because you might not be able to farm all of the fields even if you assign 2 workers, because like the patch of grass is too big. I don't use farms very often, so I don't know exactly how much leniency I have, how many fields can be farmed in a season, but I want to make sure that this is the highest priority building because we're currently in drizzle season. This is where we sow our seeds. In clearance season, we harvest them. In the storm season, we do nothing with farms. I could place down a second one if I wanted to, but I don't think so. I don't have enough units for that yet. Don't have any orders either. I'm going to place down a woodcutter's camp so I can start opening up some more glades. If I open up this one, it's considered a small glade. This one is a medium, and this has an event that I'm going to need to deal with eventually, kind of like the one that killed my units early. So I don't want to open up these guys early, but the rewards from those events can be very powerful. So I'm going to open them when I have the resources to deal with it. Like I needed fabric and planks last time around, so I need to make sure that I have a crude workstation up before I feel comfortable opening up one of these glades. So let's get a woodcutter's camp down. Does this path line up here? It doesn't? I'm fine to move these guys up by 1 instead. I guess these paths don't work out as well. So just like this. Okay, we're going to assign beavers to this guy, and all 3 of them. And then my lizards are going to be the builders of all of the paths for right now. They'll eventually get on to this stonecutter's camp that I'm placing, which I'll put down at a -1 priority because I want them to build the paths first so that the other units can move quickly. Let's see what our first order is. Oh, right. I forgot about the small farm needing me to put down farm fields specifically. So I'm going to change all of those into farm fields, and I can have other builders help them out. So it's a tedious process, but I'm going to up all of the priority. Normally you only get farmers fields on year 2. So during the storm season, you can have people building all of these fields and putting down the farmer building to begin with. Man, the things I do to optimize games, even in the tutorials. And I'm fine with speeding this up. So the lizards are going to be pulled off of their path production, and they're going to help build the farm fields. Which I guess I didn't need to make all of them, right away, just because it takes a while to sow the fields. How long, I think? Yeah, 30 seconds to plant, 30 seconds to harvest. So as long as 2 were made, or I guess a few of them, my lizards would eventually get around to the rest of the fields. My order is ready, so I get an extra 2 humans. I guess I could make a second field, but I don't think I need to. I'm also going to get rid of them planting vegetables because you can see I only get 3 vegetables, but I get 6 grain per plant. And I'm only looking to make grain to eventually turn that into ale in the future. So I'm going to turn off vegetable production. The next thing to do, 2 woodcutters camp and 2 shelters, pretty easy. And we also have a new building to pick up, which it's the shelter itself. So let's put down 1, 2, 3. We need at least 4 buildings currently. And I'll have a second woodcutter's camp below. I mean, I want them to be closer to the warehouse, so maybe... Let me move this shelter earlier. I think I'm going to place a woodcutter's camp in here. So like this, and then we ask for a woodcutter's camp. Can I press like C to copy you? No. Okay. So resource buildings, woodcutter's camp. Place you down here. Let's assign some more beavers to you. We don't have any more beavers, so I'm going to assign 2 humans. We also have a lizard on the hearth. Don't need that. We'll use a human there instead. And we have a cornerstone to pick early. So I can get 5 barrels per minute, or I can get 50% to the production of goods at the small farm. I don't have a second small farm yet. I'm not going to do this. I'd rather have a source of barrels to like make my ale in just passively, without having to worry about like making the barrels myself. If I were to like really stat into just ale production, I'd want to have a way of making barrels myself so that I could like scale it with my needs. But currently, I'm fine to do it this way. I just want to check on my total wood. 46. Yeah, that's definitely enough to have going in the hearth and to build all of my shelters. Let's make some paths for this woodcutter camp, and I guess I should move this shelter. So the path goes along here, and I will, once you guys are done harvesting or delivering, move you up closer to the trees. Ask you to cut into this glade so I can see what's on the inside, and I could ask you guys as well, but I think you're going to do it yourself. We have another 2 beavers. I can replace you guys with them. A trapper camp. So these here will give me egg. It's like a food source. I'm going to need to cut out some area around them though, because I've taken up these as farm fields. I can't place a building over top of it. And we need to get 5 meat specifically. I think these guys give... Oh, it isn't. No, it's meat, not eggs. It's meat and leather. So let's get building that camp. Where is it? Resource acquisition? Yep. We'll have it built over here, and then once the tree clears clear enough space around it, I'll place the trapper camp somewhere in here. We'll man this with lizards because they have a specialization bonus. I think it's, yeah, just proficiency, so a chance to duplicate the material. Is there enough space to sneak my trapper camp in there? I think, yeah, once that tree goes down, I can move this down by a bit and then slot you in here. Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult for my woodcutters to get around to this area, but not impossible. Game. Okay. A little bit of lag there. I think that's the first time I've seen that happen in this game, which might have been caused by opening up this glade. No, it's been open for a while. You can see that, like, this is, like, the notification timer. So we've got a small encampment of some more people. I can either send them to the Citadel and gain some amber, which is this game's currency, or I can welcome them and have them add 2 villagers. I'm going to send a villager over here to get more villagers. I'd rather scale for later than have more money now. The Stonecutter's camp has nobody at it. I don't have a need for stone yet, but I will eventually. Okay, so I can see that the drizzle season is just about finalized. So during planting season, I just barely have enough time to be able to hit all of these fields with these people. That is a bit of an issue though, because they're going to have to clear out the fields as like harvesting takes the exact same amount of time as planting, but they're also going to have to ship that grain back to the warehouse as well. Later in the game, you can have people assigned to the warehouse to like ship goods for you, but currently that's not something I can do. Let's also move this woodcutter's camp to be a bit closer to like other materials. I think opening up the area behind the stonecutter's camp would be nice. So it doesn't move far, but it moves somewhere. We can also grab our orders here. And we get a smokehouse. Let's see what the next order is. It's to make a smokehouse, enable meat, and make jerky. Okay. So this is a 3x3. This would be the one that I'd want to place beside the warehouse. Don't have the space to do that yet, so it's just going to go down here. That's fine. Now I should assign lizards to this because they have 2 specialization bonuses. So buildings that are warm, lizards like because they're cold-blooded. The lizards that are placed in here get +5 to their specific resolve. Since I have 4 lizards, that averages out to just +1 for the entire community. And they also have the proficiency bonus, which means that they have a chance to double their yields. So you can make a bunch of different things in the smokehouse. I'm not going to worry about making pottery or incense yet. Don't have the materials for it, don't have a need for it. But we are going to ask it to use meat, not insects, because we don't have a source of insects, and use wood as its source to burn, because we're just collecting so much from our woodcutter's camp. I think we only need 1 lizard here, to be honest. And now the limits have been unlocked. So let's say I don't want to overproduce jerky. I don't want to use too much of my meat or too much of my wood. I can set a limit here as 50. So then as the lizards eat them, say I drop below 50, it'll add another jerky to the pile. So keeping food or clothing needs, let me open these up. So keeping your jerky need at around 50 is always going to make sure that there's enough in backlog that whenever a lizard is asking for food, it can get the jerky that it wants. Oh, and I also have newcomers waiting, so let me accept them to the community. I'll take more people. If I'm taking more lizards, I'm fine putting a second one down here. And the jerky that's being produced in the smokehouse is only something that lizards like. Beavards, they like biscuits and pickled goods. You guys like biscuits and porridge, so and pie. What's next? We have a small crate over here. We can get some goods. I think I'd rather send it to the Citadel for a few extra reputation points than take on the reeds and the eggs, since I don't need eggs right now. And I think, yeah, reeds and plant fiber are very similar. I'll take this instead. We'll assign 1 worker to you and investigate. Now, I don't have as many people working as I could, so I'll put some humans to work over here. I wonder if they're going to harvest the vegetables at all, or since I've turned it off. Oh, they do harvest the vegetables. Okay. So it's just the on and off is for what do you plant. Turning something off, they'll also harvest that material. How much space does this have for things? I think it's still just 10. Yeah. We also have some people that don't have their housing needs met because I've accepted a lot of people without making the shelter that I need for them. Let me move up this camp to open up some more space in the back and make some more shelters. Yes, three shelters is enough across the board. Okay, our smokehouse is done. So let's see what our next order is. It wants us to make a brewery and enable the barrels recipe at the brewery. And it wants us to make ale. Okay. I don't know if I have the ability to make barrels at the brewery yet. Or I think it just gives me enough base barrels that I don't need to worry about it. I don't have the space anywhere for it but beside the hearth if I want to place it close to my warehouse, which is something that I want to do with my production buildings. So we move those over. And then I think it was it food production? No, it was industry buildings. I mean, I don't really see a brewery as an industry building, but it's fine. Now, instead of using the pots or the leather skins, water skins, because we don't have them, we'll use the barrels that we have so far. We don't care about porridge yet, which I could make, but I don't have a source of water to add to the porridge. I'm saying I could make it because I have grain. I often don't put down fields, so I just don't have a source of grain. I always need to use one of these harvested materials. Oh, and it is getting close to the end of the season. We've got 36 more seconds before it ends, and we still haven't farmed all of our fields. So I could take a few of these fields away, especially these two, but I don't exactly need to. They can stick around. I should assign some people to the brewery though, so that I have what do I need to unassign? Because I don't have enough people total right now to be able to assign the people that I want to the brewery. Where did I assign humans? Here, and I only have 6 of them. Where else did I assign them? I think one is in the stonecutters camp here, and I don't specifically need stone, so I'll get rid of those 2. Assign a second human here, and then that still leaves 2 builders for the shelters that we're going to need over the coming storm. Oh, and we have another set of people to take on. So I'm going to send 1 person here to accept them to the village. And then the other builder is going to be building this shelter. Now, some people take a minus to the resolve. It's not a big one since we don't have very much hostility yet, but it will be in the future. Also, oh, right. They fertilize the fields over the storm. I forgot about that. This woodcutters camp also hasn't been moved in a while, and I should get around to that. It would be nice to get this opening up some more space behind the warehouse, so I'll put both of my woodcutters camps back here. A bit rough for them to get to and from the warehouse, but it'll be better as soon as I can move them up, which I mean I should remove those trees then. 20 ale in the brewery. Yeah, you guys are making them. It just takes a long time to make it. Again, I'm going to put some kind of limit on it. And it'll tell me when those limits are hit so that I know that, like, oh, I am overproducing this material. I guess I should take, like, somebody off. 50% to the amount of goods produced in the brewery. Gain production increases by 1 every 25 times it's produced. So this is not something that's, like, as good as you'd expect. 25 times doesn't mean that, like, oh, I'm producing 6 grain every, like, square. Let's say I plant 1 grain right here and I harvest it. It doesn't count for the 6 grain that were retrieved and put into the warehouse. It counts the 1 instance of grain that I harvested for 6 overall. So this, producing it 25 times, is going to happen. I think we only harvested like these squares right here, so that's like 10, maybe 12. Yeah, it's 12. So over the course of 2 years, I'll get to increase my production of grain from 6 to 7. Not something I want to do. If I was harvesting grain instead from a camp, it would be a lot quicker to just retrieve it rather than having to plant and harvest it. So this would be better in that case, but not for right now. So we take efficient brewing. Oh, this is something that I can talk about before the Queen's Envoy gets around to it. So this little symbol here means that I can favor a specific community, or a specific character, a specific species. When I click on it, it'll boost its resolve by 5, but other species will suffer a -5 to their resolve. So lizards, since they need such a small amount of resolve to start, like, gaining me passive reputation, I'm going to favor them, and since my reputation or my resolve with these guys is high enough, they can take the -5 hit very easily. They can just absorb it. Now the reason why I'm getting the lizards up to this amount of resolve is that I'm giving them jerky and housing currently. Let's cash in on this order, see what our next order and building are. We need to make a tavern, and we're going to fulfill the need for leisure for both our beavers and our humans. So let's make that tavern. Now, the tavern can be further away from the warehouse. It doesn't need to be right beside, just because the goods only get shipped to it. And then they just get used passively. I don't think people have to, like, walk to the tavern themselves to fulfill that need. But I think a nice spot to build it would be... Which building is it again? Here's the city building. We'll place it down here. Now, we don't have enough fabric for it, so I think there's a crude workstation somewhere. Industry buildings, we've got a crude workstation. So I'll place it down. Where would I place it down? I mean, here's good enough. It's not great. This is probably better if I move this shelter. Yeah, I'll place it on the other side. Crude workstation, and we're going to ask somebody to make some fabric for us. So here, I'm going to set the priority higher on fabric, and I'm going to ask them to cap out at 10. Also going to make sure that my plant fiber is being used compared to anything else. Guess they're not going to be able to make much, but say they're not able to make fabric for any reason. They hit the limit, they don't have enough resources. I'm going to ask them to make planks afterwards. And then once they hit a limit of 10, or let's say 15 on planks, because I use more of them, I'm going to ask them to make bricks. Scale the priorities all up by 1, and I don't need pipes yet. We're not working with water, and I'll ask them to use, is this stone that I'm getting or clay? It's clay. Got it. So then this guy should be using my clay and not my stone. And again, I'm going to set a limit to about 10. Get some people in there. And let's also get some people working the tavern. What's the specialization bonus here? Comfortable. So it's +5 to their resolve specifically. And if I have more people working at the tavern, it doesn't change anything about it except for a passive here. So one worker means that the tavern is going to be like online. It's going to allow people to fulfill their leisure need when they take a break. When I have 2 people here, no benefit is being gained by having the second beaver here. But if I put a third one in, it fulfills the building's passive effect, and that's a +3 to global resolve. I don't think I really need that. I'm fine to remove these 2. If I'm like close enough to have the +3 matter somewhere, then I'll put extra people in here. We're still waiting on some building materials. Yeah, 'cause people have to make the fabric. They're also shipping all of the materials that they need over here, which kind of sucks because they've got some wood. They don't have any plant fiber yet. There's the plant fiber. So the storage of the buildings themselves is infinite, but the goods that they produce is finite. So I can have as many, planks of wood or plant fiber in here as possible, but only a maximum of 10 of each of these materials. Oh, and I have more newcomers waiting. Let me accept more people, so that's 4, I'll take that, and then I feel comfortable just assigning 2 more people here to get Gleeman's Tails activated. Which then probably means that I don't need to favor this species anymore. They'll just be high enough from the +3 resolve here. And we'll see the reputation meter has been slowly building because we've had our lizards at a high enough resolve for that to work. And we also don't need to be producing this much jerky. We've capped out, so I'm going to remove 1 lizard from here, and I'm going to assign them elsewhere. Stonecutter's camp is fine. I could also up this limit if I want to get them working right away. I don't really need to. Now their resolve is at 20. If I remove their favor, then they drop down to 15, which still allows them to gain me passive reputation. But let's say I've spent like 3 or 4 minutes getting passive reputation from these guys. The limit for how much resolve they need to be able to gain me this passive amount increases. So like after spending another minute with them at this resolve gaining me points, it's going to be like 16 or 17 points instead of the 15 that it's at currently. I should also be moving these woodcutter camps. That's a lot of space out back now. I could be placing a lot of shelters there instead of wherever I placed them in front here. I guess they're fine where they are currently. So if I really wanted to, I could favor humans instead, but that's not something I want to do because I've got slightly more lizards. You gain more, reputation from having high resolve if you have more of that character or more of that species. So it's better to have these guys at a higher resolve. Oh, because they're starting to fulfill their need for leisure, they're also at blue and they're gaining me passive reputation. That's nice. We'll get some more passive reputation, or some more like a lump sum of reputation from here. We can pick whatever house we want. I will take a beaver house because they haven't maxed out on their reputation yet, and I'd like to get that done. Yeah, okay, we are earning a lot of passive reputation from having 2 of our people hitting their resolve goals. Our order's ready, so we'll cash that in. And let's see what the next one is. Oh, I think that one, based off the icon, is have your humans at a high resolve. I already have that, so it gave me enough reputation to finish the level. I've also gained enough experience as a viceroy to get some more cornerstones, the passive abilities, some new buildings, and citadel upgrades. I think that's the meta progression. So maybe it will allow me to buy some of those. No, we're gonna do the map next. Okay. So the Citadel is basically our home base. It's going to be where we buy our meta upgrades. Let's see what they are. Gain a permanent 2% reduction to fuel consumption in the heart. parts, and I can take on stone or clay at the beginning of my city's like inception. Gain a -2% to which the Queen's Impatient grows. Enables advanced controls for what is being consumed in your settlement. That is definitely something that I want. And then a place where you keep records about it. Well, I need to unlock this one to get to this guy, so I'll unlock those two.